The Santos Tour Down Under is underway. As the race weaved its way through the Barossa Valley wine-growing region, Matt Goss complemented a perfect start with a brilliant finish.
And Goss really has got his legs on this year.
The Tasmanian draws first blood and is the toast of the Tour.
Is on the race and keeping a close eye on. Big break for this 21-year-old.
A nice move going here from Martin Christen, and he's trying to get himself a few points at the top of the King of the Mountains point here, but he's covered very smartly there. You can see Phil by two riders in BMC, and the rider in the white jersey is the leader of the King of the Mountains classification at the start of the day. That was of course Luke Roberts.
Docker in this breakaway, as he was yesterday. I think I did Tanner a favour with his age there, because in fact he's 26 just now, but there's the sprint for the top, and he's showing he's got a good pair of legs here. Docker on the left hand side trying to hold off Chris Suck, and I think he might just have done that there. It's pretty close.
Very close indeed, but what's more important is what's going to happen behind, because of course Luke Roberts wants to get a few points if he can to keep himself in the lead in that competition. That's Roberts on the left in the white jersey.
And he's come clear of the field here, so he's determined to keep this Skoda King of the Mountains leaders jersey, and the BMC riders with him are not going to challenge. Tim Rowe and Simon Zana are the other two riders there, but this will keep him in the white leaders Skoda jersey tomorrow. He scores points. Well done, Luke Roberts. Now, the Adelaide Hills are all around us now, and they're famous for the Sauvignon Blanc. The Adelaide Hills is Australia's premier cool climate wine region. There are 33 wineries, including the Lane, the Penth and Shaw & Smith, which nestle among the gum trees and the rolling hills here. The heritage listed Bridgewater Mill has a beautifully restored 1860 stone flour mill as well. Back to the action now, as it looks as though the riders stayed on there, Paul, because they've now joined up. And we've got 6 riders in front. So Luke Roberts has come up with the 2 BMC riders, Simon Zana and Tim Rowe.
Well, in fact, that gap was starting to come down to the main field, but the fact that they've now received some reinforcements from the rear could change the race. This is the front end of the main field. You made just a quarter glimpse of the ochre jersey. That's the leader of the race, and that's Matty Goss. Well, that's Luke Roberts there, Phil. He's actually sitting up from that leading group. He did what he wanted to do, and I don't think he wants to stay in that leading group, and he's sitting up and waiting for the main field.
Well, I think Luke's got his head screwed on. There's a long way still to go. This is the Powerade hydration station here, where the boys get their food for the day, and Luke Roberts has decided, I think very wisely, he's gone out. He's got enough points to keep him in the leader's jersey tomorrow in that competition, and he's got back into the peloton. So there's 5 riders here now, and we're not looking, Paul, at much more than a minute over the field.
It's just hovering. I think the main field are fairly happy to have this situation. There's still HTC on the front doing a lot of the pacemaking. 5-man leading group now hovering at the 1 minute margin. It's an ideal situation, I have to say, for the sprinters.
Well, Timothy Rowe, the 21-year-old, is in this breakaway and is in his first year on Team BMC. His teammate Simon Zana from Switzerland in his second year on Team BMC. And we're heading up now towards Mount Pleasant. 108 kilometres under the wheels. The peloton still haven't brought them back, and it looks as though Andre Greipel has sent a few teammates to the front to keep the tempo. This is Mount Pleasant, this is the sprint, and Docker's scoring again here. Well, he should do. Let's hope he does, because there's 4 of them in the hunt. It looks as though Zana's gone on the left of our picture in the BMC colours, and is he going to get that? Because that is Docker chasing him. He does. So it's Zana, Docker, Tanner in that order over the line.
Yeah, but it's a good operation though for Docker Phil. If you have a look, he's struggling to come up through the middle here. He knows how important it is to try and get himself points every time they're available. And he gets second place there and a few more points in the bag.
Well, 2 days out front for Mitchell Docker. That's going to do him all sorts of favours, I think, when it comes to the team and prize presentation at the end of the day. And welcome back to the IG Market second stage of the Santos Tour Down Under. We're bound for Manham now, and the riders really are lifting the speed.
Well, HTC, you can see Phil getting a little bit of help from Omega Pharma Lotto. There's one lone survivor of that 5-man breakaway which got clear early on, and it's Tim Rowe of BMC.
The 21-year-old, he's got a big chance here joining Team BMC from the Trek Livingstone team. Let's see if he can hold on. Well, no visit to the Murrayland is complete without a cruise on the iconic Murray River. You can take a short day cruise on a 40-seat cruiser or hire a houseboat and have a more relaxed cruise. And for something different, explore the river on a paddle steamer and take the step back in time with an informative guide from the skipper. And the river has never had so much water in it for years, and this man now trying to get there first, right onto the banks of the Murray at Manham, but it's not going to happen for him, Paul.
Well, you can see the top part of his body there is rocking and rolling just a fraction there. HTC completely in control. That looked like Bernie Eisel, as always, the pilot fish. 5 kilometres to go. Oh, somebody's gone off at the side.
Well, that is a tricky manoeuvre to say the least. I think he's okay, and he's come back around that 5-kilometre banner right at the back of the field, and that's unfortunate, but the peloton safely through. They're inside 5 kilometres to go now. Team Sky trying to get control of the front of the peloton here, and that's not surprising.
Well, that's Simon Gerrans in second place, Mickey Rogers in first. They're trying to set up their sprinter, CJ Sutton. He's a very fast man. He's had already a certain amount of success during his winter in Australia.
This is the sharpest bend on the course here. It's a reverse left-hand bend. Team Sky around first, steady as they go, looking to challenge a crash on right in the centre. We might get a better view of that from the helicopter. Absolute melee of fallen riders down there.
There's a rider down there from HTC, and he's looking a little bit hurt. In fact, I think that's 21. That's Mark Cavendish.
That's Mark Cavendish. His crash helmet on the back of his head. He looks really stunned there, and that caught them all out. Also, Tyler Farrer is down there as well.
These are all of the big... Oh, there's a bike split in half there, Phil. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know whose bike it was, but that was Tyler Farrer. All of these big sprinters getting very much together.
But look at this move now to try and get clear of the field here. Let's see if we can just see that again, Paul. It's right in the centre as they come round the corner on the right-hand side of the picture.
And I think it was Cavendish who actually went down first there. It looked as if he did, and all of a sudden somebody T-boned him from behind. That must have been very sore indeed.
Well, they're outside 3 kilometres to go. They will lose time sat on the road there as we go back now to find Michael Rogers here riding on.
Well, Mickey Rogers, excuse me, has decided to go it alone. He knows there's been a certain amount of confusion, but what this will do, it'll take the pressure off Team Sky, because it's the other teams now are going to have to try and pull Mickey Rogers back into the fold.
Well, we're hearing it. Chris Sutton is also down in that crash. 1 or 2 Sky riders got involved in that one. Also HTC have lost Mark Cavendish, Tyler Farrar. They're out of the hunt for the win today now. Big sprinters left lying in the road at round about 3.5 kilometres from the finish. Michael Rogers, 3 times a world time trial champion, is trying to ride off the sprinters as he storms down towards Manham.
Well, he's certainly thrown down the gauntlet for the sprinters teams. It's up to HTC to try and get themselves organised now. They're the team that's got the overall lead with Matty Goss, and he is a man I would think can really come up with this finish today. It's a tough finish, slightly uphill around this corner now that you can see the big teams coming to the front, getting themselves organised.
Very sharp right-hander. There'll be another one coming up, and then they'll line themselves up for the uphill climb towards the finish, which flicks left on a couple of occasions. Well, around this one safe enough as they now start to pick up the team again, but Michael has decided he's not going to make the last kilometre and the climb. He's thrown in the towel, and it's Rabobank who are bringing the race back together.
Well, that's Graham Brown or Michael Matthews, 2 very fast sprinters sitting in second place. You can see Gerrans looking over his shoulder, waiting for the moment to move.
Well, Brown's got a good position here. He's locked in 4th. Matthew Heyman just behind there. Sky team still have got a lot of firepower here, trying to reorganise it. Bit of bumping and barging there because Alan Davis, the Commonwealth Games champion, trying to get in it for Astana as well.
Geraint Thomas is in the white jersey in about 3rd or 4th position. He rides for Team Sky. He's a very fast sprinter himself.
And clearly Andre Greipel is here because his team are here and still riding near the front. And so that's interesting because he wasn't involved in the crash, which has taken out his main rivals in the sprint.
Now they're really getting it stretched out. They've got this one very organised. It's the man from HTC on the front, the Australian champion, Hayden Rolston.
Hayden looks over his shoulder, sees where his teammates are. They're a bit too far down the line here. Sky have got themselves well organised. Now the white jersey, Geraint Thomas, the British champion, also a member of the Sky team as they go through the chicane for the finish.
Well, they're getting themselves lined up. They've still got an awful long way to go, 700 or 800 metres. There's a black jersey on the front. That's obviously still Team Sky trying to keep it tough.
Well, this is a spectacle for the crowd now as they all try to organise themselves. The final lead out is Geraint Thomas now. He's got Ben Swift looking over his shoulder. Brown is in position. Robbie McEwen is moving up, and a little run through on the inside now. Geraint Thomas has let Swift go and stopped as they come into the line. Now they've gone down. In fact, Geraint Thomas to me looked like he was the first one to fall, but the battle is at the front and Ben Swift is holding on Ben Swift, in his first visit here, the 23-year-old has got a victory in the Santos Tour Down Under. But he's left carnage behind him.
Well, he certainly has. Let's have a look at that one more time. That's a white jersey on the front. The British national champion, Geraint Thomas, has got Ben Swift right on his wheel. Graham Brown's coming up there in the orange jersey for Team Rabobank. McEwen's a long way down. He sees the gap closing, so he's decided to go for a long sprint. He just gets up through the inside. Geraint Thomas looks over, and Brown, he's right up there in third or fourth position. But it went, in fact, you can see it was the British champion went down first.
He did indeed, and took out quite a few riders behind him there. This is the front view of it. And there is Geraint Thomas down first in the white jersey, but to the right here, Robbie McEwen looked very good for the victory. But Ben Swift had that little bit quicker finish on the top of the climb. McEwen will go across in second place. Graham Brown looks like he's in third. Failure, probably the rider in fourth. But in my mind, that means the new race leader of this tour is going to be Robbie McEwen. Now this is the result of the carnage. And we are hearing that Bernie Sulzberger is down there with a likely broken collarbone. Let's hope not. Ben Swift is the stage winner over Robbie McEwen. Graham Brown failure. Jurgen Roland's in fifth place. There he is, the winner today. And now let's hear from him with Paul Sherrin. Well, let's have a look at the overall leaders now. Robbie McEwen is the new leader of the Tour. Matthew Goss equal on time, same for Ben Swift. So they're only placed on count back, but McEwen gets to wear the ochre jersey tomorrow. He'll be delighted with that. In the Jayco sprint competition, Mitchell Docker, 2 days out front, is rewarded with the jersey now in this competition as leader, ahead of McEwen. So well done for 2 days of aggressive cycling by Mitchell Docker. In the Skoda King of the Mountains competition, Luke Roberts took just enough points with that fourth place finish over the mountain today to keep his lead over his teammate Mitchell Docker. So Luke Roberts on course for a Skoda King of the Mountains title. The day's hindmarch most aggressive ride, I think we'll all agree here, was Yuri Krivtsov, who had a terrific day out. Unfortunately, he didn't stay through till the end. And in the cycle instead, young rider winner, well, that will be on the shoulders of Matthew Goss, who's lost his ochre jersey for the moment.